Let's add this line to tell the browser to link to this style sheet when the web page gets loaded. Let's open a new notepad and create and save as mystyles.css. Let's add this line and click on save. Now let's refresh the browser. We see that the title color has changed to lime, so that the style sheet is working. Let me explain how this works. Each line on the style sheet is a style rule. The style rule has a structure of two parts: the selector and the decoration. The selector identifies which item from the HTML code we want to apply the style. For example, we want the H1 header to change color. The decoration part of the style rule, or the curly brackets, is to tell what property to change and change to what. So we have a property name called color, and the value for this property is lime. As a result, we have a style rule says that all H1 elements in the document will have a color of lime. Please note that the value of color could take either by the name of the color or the 6-digit hexadecimal value with the hash symbol or pound sign in front of it. Now let's do the second method of applying the style, and this is to create the embedded style. Now let's create an element called style. And then we are going to put the style rule inside the style element. Let's hit save and refresh. It seems like this new rule is overwriting the rule from the external file. But if we put this line in front of the linked file line, what will happen? Let's do that now. It somehow reverts back to the lime color again. So this tells us that the browser read line by line and kept the last rule when it read. Let's put this line back. Finally, let me show you the other way of applying the style, and this method is to apply directly to the desired element. In our example, we will add our style directly to that specific header. Before I do that, let me do a copy of this title so we can demonstrate, and I will demonstrate the reason later. After saving, we see two titles as we expected, and the color is the same in both because the style rule said that all H1 header will have the orange color. Now add this inline style in one of the titles. Save and refresh. Now you see there's only one of the title is purple, because we only apply one H1 element. So the first rule is to apply to all H1 element to orange. Then the inline style overrides the orange and change to purple. Essentially, the writing of CSS is like a rule book, tells the browser what and how the web page is formatted when it loads, and then rendered the final results to the users. From this demo, you can see that the color rule on the inline style overrides the color rule on the embedded style, and the color rule on the embedded style further overrides the external CSS file. This casting effect is the reason why CSS is called the casting style sheet, because the styles applied according to these priority rules, so that the final result is predictable when the web page is rendered by the browser. In a sense, the inline style overrides any style rules, but its effect is limited to one single place on the web page, so the scope is limited. An external file like the mystyle.css is more generic in terms of applying priority, but it can control all the web pages that it linked. This is pretty powerful because instead of going to every web page to change a style, now I can just go change at one place on a CSS file for just once, and then it will affect the entire website that may host thousands of web pages. To finish up the style sheet, we want to add a little bit more styles to our entry form. Let's add the following line to the mystyle.css file. Save and refresh it. So it's great that we finished our style sheet for our project.